settle it. Settle it. Gotcha. I. Oh. Wake already. I'm happy already.
Yeah.
She can't get away from me.
Yeah.
So this is definitely what I, do you have access to a really small area? You quit that.
Up at Denise's, she actually asked me if I wanted to come up tomorrow and do barn work, but I wasn't sure Kate was ready for barn work.
Well, I don't know what she means by barn work.
Well, it's a stall about this size, like, you know, the size of 2 horse stalls with the middle knocked out,
Yeah,
so.
well, that's, I start puppies this way a lot of times. I might put, Diane doesn't have a lot of sheep that I like.
Yep.
But at home, I might put 20 sheep in a stall. Hey. Lighting, good. Lighting, good. Come by. You quit that. You listen to me. You quit that. No laughing at this dog. That's Desi, 100%, huh?
Oh, that's why I'm laughing.
But see, I just got on to her because she was too fast and
Yep.
just a stinker, and she says,
Yep,
Yeah. I remember.
working for herself.
we can put Days in here, that might be a good idea. You brave? Cause I'm gonna be out there
Well, I
watching.
don't know.
I don't know.
Not such a good idea now.
It's a good idea.
You better stop this. You better stop it. So anything I see that she does that's unruly, I can get after her for. Away. Atta girl. And it really will transfer, at least that's been mine. Because you can really frustrate them if you keep stopping them and screwing them down. So you've got to make her right and let her work. So if she gets up and she's wrong, you go right after her and tell her to knock it off and hit yourself with this or make noise with it or do something. And when she says, oh, okay, I get it, then you let her go and let her work.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stand right here in the corner.
Hey,
Tell her lie down.
lie down, lie down, lie down.
You don't have to raise your voice to her. And I wouldn't,
Lie down,
I would try not to let her up
lie down,
until you tell her. Now, she's not down.
lie down. You lie down.
Good. Okay, now, she has to stay there until you tell her to do something else, no matter what it is. If it's away or come by or,
Away,
now follow,
Lie down.
you follow her around.
lie down.
Okay, she'll stop for you, we know that. So when she gets up, you follow her tail. Go right around her with her tail. And that'll keep the sheep off of you.
Okay,
There you go. And if you get nervous, stop her.
okay.
Or dizzy.
Kate,
Or
lie down,
dizzy.
lie down.
And then what you can, if you can
You
get,
lie down,
good. If you can get away from the sheep enough,
lie down,
get her to change directions for you as she's going around. But
lie down.
there are parts of the sheep dog that are important. If you follow her tail, it releases her and she'll circle. If you push on her shoulder like Noreen and I talked about, it'll push your dog out. If you get in her nose, she'll change directions. And so she needs to learn to stop for you, which she's doing. That's nice. Eventually you teach her to stop off balance so that she doesn't come around to balance to stop. But this is a good start because as long as she'll stop, you can catch your breath and not be dizzy and not get run over. When she gets up,
Lie down.
follow her tail,
Okay,
and then she'll hold the sheep off of you.
okay.
That's preservation.
Lie down. I need preservation,
We
definitely.
all do,
Lie down.
especially with a dog that looks like this.
Away. Away.
Follow her. Good. If she gets too fast or dives in, you talk to her.
Away.
Okay, now see if you can turn and go the other way. Perfect.
Nice.
Now ask her to lie
Lie
down.
down.
Ma-
You lie down.
Good. Okay. So you never had to raise your voice, and she did everything for you, and she didn't get over the top.
Lie
If she gets over the
down.
top,
Lie down. You lie down.
if she gets over the top, chase her into one of these corners and get in her face and tell her, I don't like that.
Okay.
Which is the purpose of being in the small pet, to
Yeah,
have that
yeah.
ability.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
like
And-
there.
lie
You
down.
know, sometimes they never find out they can beat you, but they're smart. So.
She's smart. Lie down. Good girl. Lie down.
Okay, make her stay there. I'm a good girl.
Good girl. Good girl. Lie down. Good girl. Lie down.
In obedience, traditional obedience, we used to do all the proofing. I still do that.
Lie down.
Lie
Lie
down.
down. Lie down. Good.
So what I might do is lie down,
Opposition reflex.
lie down.
I
Lie
do
down.
that all the time to work my stays at the start line in
Yeah.
agility.
Well, you have to when what they're doing is so much more motivating than what you're asking them to do.
Yep.
And it cements, they understand.
Lie down.
And then she kind of sniffed. If you see behavior that you don't like sniffing or poop or some kind of avoidance behavior, then you just back off of her a little bit and let her work a little more.
Okay.
But she needs to think, and if you see her not thinking, if you're in a situation like this, you can go right after her. And then when she gives to you, Linda and I talk about this all the time. When they give to you, get off of them, give them their sheep. If you give to me, then you get your sheep, you get to work, and life is good. If you're running sheep over me and you're too fast and you're too crazy, then I'm coming.
Yeah.
And out there, we couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
Right.
You know, I couldn't get into her head in there. But in here, I can. Now, you don't want to do this forever. Once you can come in here and she's respectful, then you try her in a bigger area. And you don't want to just circle with her. You want her to be able to hold them and do different things with them.
Right.
And maybe, you know, I don't know what Denise does for barn work, but maybe she has chutes and has them push sheep in chutes and hold them in corners and do different things. And if she does that, that's great, as long as her head's in the game.
I mean, I'm not sure what she would have in mind for Kate. When we did barn work with my old dog back in the day, it was an area about this big, but she would have probably a dozen sheep in here.
That's great.
And she would just do exactly what we're doing now.
Good.
Lie down.
Yeah, and that would be the best thing in the world for her. And you have a piece of cardboard in your hand. She's not a tough dog, she's just smart, which is exactly what we had with her big brother. You know, he's not tough at all, he's just real keen to work and very smart.
Good girl.
So this, I kind of, if I have a dog that's a problem for whatever reason, I've made a mistake, somebody else made a mistake, a dog that's really strong, this dumbs things down. I
Yeah.
bring them down to my level this way, and I can, you know, then you can get things done.
It's not so scary in here as when I was standing out there watching you. Lie down.
Because your dog is good.
Well, now that I've seen that, you know, yeah, we're all still standing, except
Yeah,
for her.
yeah. And, you know, it's really, the reason I don't have 20 sheep in here is I don't have 20 sheep that wouldn't just make her crazy. You know, there might be yearlings out there that have never been dogged, and if you have good, solid sheep, I would pack so many in here that she had to squirrel her way around sometimes. So you do a lot of different things with them, and they have to behave in every situation. You know, this is perfect, look at her.
Yep.
You know, she's slightly off now, she hasn't gotten up,
And she doesn't have her psycho eyes on.
she doesn't have, you got
She's
it.
actually listening to Linda a little bit, and she's a tiny bit zoned out, but not zoned out like I'm about to charge the sheep, although now she's, the
I had-
flashlights are hooked back on.
I had a great dog that I ran and opened when I didn't know anything. I mean, really knew nothing, and, this lady who trialed all the time and was very famous said, you have to take the tension out of your dogs. And it was like she was speaking a foreign language. It took me years to figure out they can't have psycho eyes. And it's really true, you know, and that's a good way to make people understand.
Yeah,
You know, we call it getting nerved up.
yeah.
You can't let them get nerved up and have all that tension.
And it's easy to get fooled and think that when their eyes are bugging out of their head, that you're super impressed, that they're like gonna
Well,
do something.
You hear people all the time, oh, my dog has a lot of push. No, your dog has psycho eyes.
Yeah. Psycho eyes.
Try her again now that she's had a chance to sit there. And if she does anything you don't like, you get on her case. Okay, change direction.
Good girl.
Nice.
Lie down, lie down, lie down. Good.
Okay, now if you see her moving off,
Down, down. Stay,
you don't ever have to raise your voice. Lie down.
lie
She's-
down,
She's gonna move because I came towards her.
lie down,
If you see her
lie down,
moving off when you ask her to lie down, like she just went,
lie down.
yeah, she's being a stinker, then you can back off of her with this a little bit when you ask her to stop. If you need it, threaten her with it. If you don't need it, kind of keep it behind you, because you don't want to say lie down and have your dog give ground. It would be nice if she gave ground if you told her out.
Yeah.
She looks great. Good. Go again. She's a little tight on him, but she's got her head in the game.
Lie down, lie down.
So the important thing that you need to teach her is to give to you. Kind of like I was
Lie
trying to
down.
do with Gunner out there, so that she'll change directions.
Lie down, you. Good girl. Lie down.
And give her a cue,
Lie down.
because she
Lie
gets
down.
up on movement, and she won't know
Lie
if
down.
you want her to get up or not unless you give her a cue, like a command to away, come by, or get back, or,
Lie down. Got it. Away.
good.
Lie down.
And if she's tight and
Lie
you're gonna tell her to move in one direction or the other, you can pressure her a little bit as she's tender. Kind of like that.
Okay.
Lie down, lie down. So ideally, we would want her to get up squarely, but in here, tough, you know.
She's had a couple good ones, but then lie down. Lie
But
down.
maybe use
Lie
different.
Lie down.
I used, when I married and had money, I used to travel with him, and now that I have to work for a living, I couldn't find anybody to drive with him and take him places.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent,
Yay.
excellent.
All
So
right.
you can't let her get away from you, so you, whatever you have to use.
I'm thinking Christmas card wrapping tubes. I mean, Christmas paper wrapping tubes.
Yeah, put,
I'm looking at that and I'm like, what can I make at home?
yeah.
If you tape them together, because you need
Yeah,
a little
put
more
a few of
oomph
them
to it.
together.
Yeah.
Or wrap up a dog food bag and tape it, or,
Yeah.
and if
I
it,
like that cart, cause I've used the rolled up bags, but I tend to whip them so much that they end up being like limp noodles.
yeah,
The
Yeah.
cardboard might last me an extra session or two.
or you can put it on your stick, tape
Yeah.
it to your stick. And if it puts her over the top, then don't use it. Or if it wears out and she says, well, I don't respect that anymore, then you have to play with what will work.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't holler at her because that puts tension in both of you.
Yeah.
And as long as she'll stop, you're not gonna get run down, you know.
One thing with me that I feel like I need to work on is no matter whether I'm stepping in here or stepping out in the field, when I first step out to work her, I actually have to take a deep breath and remind myself, because my knees are literally knocking. Like, you might not see it, but I'm like literally, and I get out there and I'm like, why am I shaking? And then as soon as I remind myself, I calm down a little bit, but I wonder how much of that feeds into her.
Oh, sure it does, but
Because I
it's,
just, like, all of a sudden I feel like I'm just,
but if you have the dog out there and you don't know where to be to help yourself, my knees would knock too, and
Yeah.
you know.
But, you know, one of the things Lynn says, if you worry, the dog worries and the stock worries.
Oh, of
And
course.
you
Puts
can't break the
tension in
cycle.
everybody.
Yeah.
And hollering puts tension in everybody, you know, it's just, and I'm not gonna say I don't do it. I get ticked off and yell at my dogs. I just don't do it as a training method. You know, I would never say, well, go yell at him, but that doesn't mean I don't go yell at them.
Right.
But I try not to, you know.
good God.
And usually the quieter you are, the calmer the dog is.
That'll do, that'll do, that'll do, you're done.
So, all kinds of things in a small area, just to get that control, so that her habit will be to listen and work off of you instead of working on her own. And she's cute, nice